Hello everyone and welcome back to The Journey, but this time it's the sequel, part of FIFA 18. This is The Journey 2.
I see you have some good
Season
taste, Dwibs. A Way Out, Fortnite, Ni no Kuni 2.
Half those games are no longer with me right now.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm
really...
Dwibs, who's this guy pointing at himself in this?
A guy who was later taken off the titles, taken off the poster for FIFA 19, but since then the stuff involving him has been dropped, so...
Okay,
yeah,
can you give me an actual name?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
wait, that's Cristiano Ronaldo? Dude, he grew some hair out, I see.
Wait, why do we have the 15 frames per second? It's not like it's nostalgic or anything.
Well, I mean, they're just flags. If the whole game were like that, then...
It's weird. They could have just
So yes,
images.
disclaimer, folks, but... yes, we are commentating on this 2017 technically game, with a 2018 title in it, clear in a year that is well outside both of those years, so don't be surprised if things are a bit out of date from what is the current FIFA lineup.
Well, what we're here about is to see what Alex Hunter's journey, is when it continues, so...
Ah, yes, the journey.
Everything else will be just, tied to the time of this.
As I recall, the journey was an interesting step outside of EA's norm, actually including a story mode in their soccer sports game.
It wasn't the most, groundbreaking, Oscar-worthy type of story, but I will still say it's solid.
The main
We'll see what
criticism...
happens now.
I thought you guys hated it.
The main criticisms we
the
had...
the douchebag rival, Dwibs.
Okay, to be fair, the main criticisms we had was the lack of...
cool, you can import the saves.
You can import your progress from the last game.
Not surprised, considering how we got the same...
The majestic career of Swansea continues.
Well, hey, let's not forget, guys, that this was made by, well, partially made by the same people who did Mass Effect. They practically wrote the book on, transporting saves from previous games. Oh, I never got around on how exactly to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I won't be able to tell you.
Wait, but you did it somehow.
Previously on The Journey.
Yeah, anyway, our main criticisms of the previous Journey campaign were some of the story bits were not exactly that well thought out. That evil boy's little plan, which lasted years on.
There was that, and there wasn't really all that to the story.
Yeah, it's like, it felt like a lot of times your choices didn't actually matter, sadly.
Now, to this game's credit, there are points in the game where the choices do stick around.
Yay! So, how was the reception to this story?
Better.
Okay. And then apparently there's a third part. We'll get to that eventually.
Yes, I have not started recording that one yet.
And that's apparently the final part of this story, which means no more story modes for soccer games.
It ends with Alexander saving the world but dying in the process.
Although we are getting FIFA Street sort of, even though it's not loitering out in our
Huh.
Alexander, welcome.
Oh, I miss Dino. Can we get back to him?
Yeah, I really liked him.
Dino is in this game.
Oh!
Hey.
Well, in the second half of the story.
So, just like the first game. Interesting. It's a shame we won't get to see the ever so gracious guy from Manchester United who they advertised for this game.
Just want to show me face.
I'll be back, son! Will he?
Yeah, we're not listening to you.
So is he gonna be back with an evil scheme in this game?
Well, you're half right.
Oh boy.
EA
Sports.
Oh god, EA has infected the very world that they've created!
Do you mean, are you on about his dad?
Yes. Oh, here we are on the set for Fast and Furious 5.
Oh no, it's
Rio.
actually the set of FIFA Street from what I've seen in this.
Yeah.
So, with FIFA Street, are they giving that a story campaign too?
Well, no, Joe. Remember the FIFA.
So,
they're not exactly calling it FIFA Street.
Sorry.
A is not called FIFA Street. It's called something else.
Oh, so
the FIFA Street stuff is replacing the Journey.
So we're in Rio de Janeiro right now.
Well, it makes sense. Brazil.
It said in the title earlier.
My bad.
So what are we
there's
doing
one at
here?
the ice.
And yes, you see, You see that little bit there where it said ice cold personality?
Alex will react accordingly depending on the situation.
Yes, and depending on your stats and choices you've made throughout not just this game, but the previous game.
Interesting. So in
That's
a way,
nice.
it's the game automatically taking how you would react and thus making it so that the character will be more consistent, rather than you just making the choices and potentially making him a complete hypocrite.
Yeah, mind you, there are still points, and you can still pick dialogue that makes him either hot, cold, or.
I love how these kids don't really know much about European soccer since you know Brazil.
Hey, I know you play.
So, what exactly is Alex Hunter doing in Brazil?
Well, it said that he's visiting the places where Pelé or Ronaldinho started.
Let me guess. He's gonna travel the world, learning the true meaning of being a soccer player.
As someone who normally does, as someone who will use it in fashion sport, the idea of starting with essential an homage to FIFA Street is actually not that bad.
Speaking of homage to FIFA Street.
Yeah, this is kind of an homage to it. Of course, they probably don't have the parkour in it. See, basically, folks, for those who don't know, the Street series are essentially not just sports played outdoors on the streets, but there's also games where you don't play by the usual rules of the sports. For example, in NBA Street, you can get incredibly physical, and there's player characters so much
it's like that Mario sport game.
Let me put it like this, Tio. Your player characters can range to Mickey Mouse, a Rockin' Molten Titan, and some anime girl.
Of course.
In fact, that's what I'll do when I get FIFA 20. Instead of the journey, well, because the journey's over now. After I do FIFA 19, the journey 3. I'll do a couple of parts of the new. Well, again, it's not called FIFA Street, but I'll just call it the Street Mode.
So, question: do they actually have like the mechanics from FIFA Street, or is it just out on the street?
I can't remember for sure.
We'll see in due time, I guess.
Besides, I'm too lazy to look up the website.
Also, Dwibs, you're literally demolishing these poor kids.
Hey! Don't you see? Alex Hunter is showing them how soccer really goes.
Maybe these kids should have fought harder before challenging the mighty Alex Hunter.
Also, it's nice to see that his friendship with... I can't believe it, but I can't remember what his friend's name is.
He just said it before. He said before his gag was for you to remember the name.
Danny,
yeah. Daniel. Oh.
Wow, he literally slide tackled that kid. Dwibs, you're aggressive.
6-2-0, seriously.
Again, he should have thought about it more.
Alex Hunter, destroyer of dreams, but builder of character. You know what they say, whenever something terrible happens to you, it builds character. At least that's usually a parent's excuse for putting their child through something tough. I.e. Calvin and Hobbes.
What's this?
Yeah, but see, these kids probably should have challenged.
Also, what's with this music?
Don't you see, Tio? It's funky, ain't that right, Roy?
By the way, speaking of music, there's been a change of composer for this game.
Who's for this one?
Junkie XL.
Oh, really?
Where have I heard that name before?
He co-scored BVS and he scored the first Deadpool.
Huh, well, I'll admit, I actually did like Batman vs. Superman soundtrack.
Alex gonna give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, though. He went by his real name in Deadpool, the more light-hearted one, but in the more serious one, he went by Junkie XL.
I mean, to be fair, Batman v Superman did have quite a sense of humor. Didn't always work out the best.
Twisted.
Yeah, a twisted sense of humor, especially with Lex Luthor, aka that guy from Now You See Me, which now that I've actually seen with my mom on vacation, I want to do a redo of, because if there's ever been a series that confused me so much, but now I want to actually have another go at, it's the Now You See Me duology.
I have thumped these Brazilian kids by 11 goals to 0.
You have crashed these poor children's dreams.
No, that was time's up.
Don't you see? We made dreams. Now they'll strive to be better.
They're good sport, I
No,
guess.
wait, don't you see? They're gonna grow up to hate him, and then they'll come back to face him again when they have become soccer players themselves as part of their World Master Revenge. I mean, I'd say that sounds stupid, but the last game kinda did something like that.
Outclassed them, mate.
You outclassed a bunch of Brazilian
What do you
kids.
do on a cold, rainy night in Stoke?
Little accident.
It's funny now because
Get back
Stoke
to the
can't in
hotel.
the Premier League
Early flight
anymore.
home tomorrow.
Wah,
Yeah, wouldn't be late for first day of pre-season, would we?
Eh?
Personality.
Oh.
Yeah, I was telling you how. But basically, if you haven't played the first game, or you just need a bit of a reminder, you can pick.
That, I'll admit, stuff like this is actually an interesting idea for cutscenes, and it definitely makes sense seeing as how people who worked on Mass Effect also worked on the story
Not just
mode.
that. I think I mentioned this in the first season, but the firing could do, good and bad, despite the obvious colors and everything. It just depends on the effects of what Alex wants to say.
Wow. Hey, it's nice that they included a credit for the
time for
music.
credits, I guess.
Yeah, but now they have style. They have graffiti credits.
Oh
Yo.
yeah, Fred Sutherland, John.
Rio
Thanos,
Ferdinand?
Okay.
Cristiano
Of course
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo is gonna be in this story.
Yeah, oh great, the hand shooters.
So I wonder, can you actually join Brazilian teams, or is Cristiano Ronaldo actually gonna be a part of the story?
Jump XL, there
It's
you go.
European and American.
The
The
journey.
journey.
Okay, yes, I said Thierry Henry. Basically,
Hunter
he is-
returns.
Thierry Henry, he was a very very good player, and especially for his country, France and Arsenal. However, back in 2009, he became infamous for cheating.
Oops.
He deliberately handballed the ball so it would stay in play, and France scored and screwed the Irish out of the World Cup.
Oh, wow.
Karma struck them hard. They did absolutely horribly at that World Cup. They didn't win a single game.
Well, at least they made it, and it's the thought that counts.
Gang.
The best thing about this preseason tour will be seeing at Mr. Alex Hunter back on the pitch. Hashtag can't wait.
I remember when you used to play football with Gareth, and don't mention Gareth, please.
Gareth, his name shall never be mentioned again. He is a traitor. He's been a traitor ever since the last 10 years he's planned that entire revenge scheme, which didn't even need to be a revenge scheme.
Alright, basically, Shiori, we did a little homage to FIFA Streets, and I also thumped a bunch
For
of...
tutorial purposes and everything.
I thumped a bunch of Brazilian kids, 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically destroyed them 11-0.
He showed it how we do it in Wales, yo.
Yes.
I'm just
Taste the swan's breath. That is.
just tampering with the settings, just to be sure I'm doing stuff.
Well, truth be told, I'm pretty sure a swan's breath is really rancid.
Oh, and even better, in this game, you can customize
Customize.
how Alex looks in the cutscenes and on the pitch.
Wait.
Yeah, that's
On the
nice.
pitch, so what? You can customize his jersey or something?
Is his hairstyle, his clothing.
Ah.
The jersey depends on the team, most likely.
Yeah,
Well,
but
again, you can. I change his look every so often in this playthrough.
nice. That is
So how do
nice.
you unlock these other shirts? Are those
Yeah.
microtransactions or you do stuff in game?
Most of them you unlock in the game.
As you
Okay.
should. But a lot of
It's weird
competition.
considering FIFA is one of those games that are more written with microtransactions and nobody bats an eye on them.
There, let me see what I can do with his hairstyle.
Let's see.
I can't,
Oh, wow,
I can't
you
make
could-
him bald.
I guess that would ruin with the mythos a little too much.
Please
too.
tell me there's some seriously ridiculous ones in here.
I already
That's
saw
serious.
one.
It's football, Shiori. There's bound to be
Tight.
ridiculous hairstyle.
Team Fit.
There you are. I'm making his clothes nice and tight for the ladies
Boots? Those are
course.
shoes, not
And-
boots.
and the gentlemen. Depending on what they're into.
Well, they
high
call them
socks.
football boots, not shoes.
Oh,
so-
goody. Thigh high socks. We're really putting in the
even
fan
though they're not
service
boots.
now.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you really like socks that go up your whole leg, This is the playthrough for you.
There's a
That's
fetish for
hot.
that.
Yeah, cue that clip with Will Smith in the rewind. Oh, that's hot.
Let me
That's
put it like
hot.
this. Let me put it like this, Dwibs.
The life.
Hey, you know what this reminds me of, Tio? When Nintendo tried to censor that Spirit from Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Yeah.
they thought that would get people less turned on, but the Fire Ice Axe actually made people like it
Hold
even
on,
more.
I'll say when it starts the training.
So we got our pre-season tour now. Getting everything all ready for the new season.
So will this coach actually respect the fact that we're an awesome player, or will he again send us off even when you know we're the best?
Again, this game does carry over stuff from the. He'll even mention in that bit there.
I wonder, is this coach literally the same guy you have for like almost every team you go to?
Well, in the Premier League.
So like, even if you chose like
remember, guys like Mourinho were only for promotional purposes, basically.
yeah, it makes sense that they would only show up during like the matches.
Alright. So yeah, here you can there are also different kinds of decisions you can make now called key decisions, which you can't reverse. So don't fuck up.
That's said to you, Dwibs. Yeah, we're in such good hands, Dwibs.
You don't get a game over, but yeah.
People will hate
Oh,
you.
Tio, now you're making me imagine how a Dwibs play for a Mass Effect would go. He'd probably go Maverick.
So basically, then you could choose whether to either do some training to get you up to date with the controls, or just go straight into an 11v11 match.
Here we go, lads. Back at the grindstone.
And yeah, this is okay. Since this is the beginning part, I don't do any fancy editing. I just want to just show.
Sure, honestly, yeah, it's good for showcasing.
It's perfectly fine.
For the tutorial. Like I'll say that yellow bib. Jesus.
Well,
rendering.
that's what you
See,
wear
I still
during
can't-
soccer
I still
practice.
can't believe it when we used the Frostbite engine for this. It was mentioning this, I think, in an E3 conference.
Don't you see, Tio?
or
We gotta
it was-
render
the-
all
the
those
Frost-
grass particles.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Frostbite engine is used for destroy things.
So yeah,
Like-
ladies and gentlemen, we have the key match: Swansea versus Swansea.
Which will win, Shiroi?
The one that has the worst breath.
Who do you think's gonna win, Shuri?
The one
Swansea?
that, you know, I'm going with Swansea.
Oh, that's a very daring risk.
Do you want Swansea or Swansea?
Or Swansea, as some people down south would pronounce it.
Or Abetawe.
That's
Yes,
Welsh.
what's the thing when you say to people that sneezes? Blessing.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
I mean, the Welsh language does sound like that.
Franguire. I've learned the first bit of that word.
You know, I saw this. I saw some clips of a recent Red Dwarf episode. I think it was Red Dwarf anyway. And there was a joke where a guy was being strangled as he was trying to type something, and one of the cast members, also one of the characters, were like, "It's like I can't remember the exact joke, so I might be wrong, but it's like trying to type Welsh after a few beers." Again, I think it was that. I might have misremembered it, because, which is odd. I mean, I didn't watch that episode exactly, but it was one from a few years ago.
So, dude, I forgot to check, but do you have any particular objectives in this training match?
Do your best.
Yeah, okay. So
Don't
basically,
fuck up.
keep your score high as usual.
Yeah. If you fail, the coach will pull out his gun and execute you.
Jesus.
Charming.
And we
It'll
need
be
to
like
start
the
this. We need
advertising.
to start this new season by raising the stakes.
It'll be like the advertising campaigns for that Wolfenstein game.
Which one? Youngblood, the DLC.
Nah, I think it'll one by I think the referee killed a player or something.
But I forgot to. I probably did ask it in season 1, but I know that in a traditional FIFA game you can customize your matches to have the timing potentially match the one of a real game. 2 times 45 minutes each. Can you do this also for the matches in story mode?
Yes.
All right.
Interesting.
But But I don't do that because otherwise these parts.
Well, obviously, but I was literally just curious because I know a couple of people that would do that. Potentially
So,
where I live. Despite you have to keep in mind, audience, that when it comes to the average Italian video gamer, I'm not exactly the average representation here. Not in the sense of, oh, I was doing these things that are cooler than the others. I'm just stating that while I personally don't care about sport games, a lot of people here in my country do. FIFA is actually one of the top selling things here for children.
Makes sense.
It's probably the same here in the UK, roughly.
Yeah. Both England and Italy are really into their footy.
As for the USA, yes, FIFA's popular here, though maybe not as popular as the NBA
Madden.
and the Madden games.
Actually, I remember they did put the story mode even in the Madden games, if I recall correctly.
One of us may have to cover that, Dwibs.
I don't really.
I'll leave that to you, Joe.
Quick question. I mean, the answer's probably obvious, but I'm not entirely sure since I don't play sports games either. What was more popular around here at a point? This or Football Manager?
Oh, that's a good question.
Football Manager is kind of like the third wheel in the main competition between PES and FIFA, essentially.
Although Football Manager may be doing better than PES from what I've heard.
Oh well, definitely.
I think it's entirely fair to compare. PES is where you play football. Football Manager is where you're the manager.
Football Manager is one of the best RPGs ever. Dang it. But you must maintain your warriors to maintain your court.
The advantage is that as the year passed by, at least for personal experience, sport games from the years past becomes incredibly cheap, like out of nowhere. So if you ever happen to find a copy of that Madden game with a story mode, around this time already, it will probably be very affordable to get
Probably, yeah.
If you want a more fair comparison, Football Manager used to have competition with it has competition with two series. Championship Manager, which used to be made by the people who would later go on to make Football Manager, but then IDOS, who ran the series at the time, switched developers around, and in a way it's still going. But it's on mobile now, which I mean isn't as bad as it sounds. A game like that, you can kind of say it's kind of suited for mobile pretty much.
Yeah.
Although I'm guessing that's not exactly high on Square's priority list at the minute. But unlike hey, at least it's still going somewhat. Unlike EA's version, FIFA Manager, it ran for a while. But it was by at some point it was starting to get just trounced pretty much by Football Manager. So EA just gave up and started just focusing on these kinds of games.
Yeah, I can see why.
And also these games, the FIFA games, have manager mode options. So
yeah,
there you are. Sega has something on EA.
Not surprising.
Remember, I think Sega released their charts recently. Football Manager, alongside with Total War, is one of the two big cash cows that are selling basically at the top right now. So that's also why the reason Sega of Europe is still, having an important thing and they're allowed to do all the Nuvo weird shit that they're doing. Because at the end of the day, Total War and Football Manager do help putting back money into Sega. Surprisingly enough, Phantasy Star Online 2, despite being an MMO, doesn't bring as much money as to say compare Final Fantasy 14 to Square Enix or World of Warcraft to Activision Blizzard. But it still does a bit. The other major top sellers are, I think, Persona and Sonic, the usual suspects, basically.
Maybe a bit of. Oh god.
I'll try to get to that chart in the meantime. But go on, Dwibs.
Well, there's also the Yakuza games.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That too, man. But yeah, they're actually risen up considerably these last couple of years, mostly thanks to Sony helping the localizations of the PS4 versions and building up from that.
But now Sega are pretty much doing those on their own.
Yeah, that's also why Yakuza games are starting to pop up on PC.
Wow, guys, I gotta say, Swansea is really winning, but maybe Swansea can get up a backwind.
Totally.
Yeah, with performances like this, it's no wonder they were relegated.
Ouch.
Well, and the insult to injury, the season after this game came out, one of the teams that took Swansea's place was their arch rivals, Cardiff.
Wow.
The thing that I don't understand about Swansea is...
Who then promptly got relegated the following.
You're saying, Joy?
Yes, you are.
What I didn't understand is Swansea went from doing incredibly well to just the bottom of the shit pile.
Maybe they let
Like-
some certain players go?
Well, in terms of teams that were relegated, I can certainly weren't the worst ones to go down. Aston Villa.
So, what do you consider being the worst to go down? Like how humiliating it was for them?
Well, Aston Villa went down because, well, plain and simply, they were piss poor. Although, as I speak, the new Premier League season's about to start, and they got promoted back up into the Premier League.
Jesus Christ, this league changes so much within its own ranks. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a complete 180 by the time we finish this playthrough.
Luckily, Wales cares more about rugby, and we're very good at it.
So I've
And that's
heard,
something-
yeah.
For the first time since 2011, the English Premier League is fully English.
In past soccer news, USA has once again taken the Women's World Cup. Yeah, being an American, I don't really know as much about other European soccer stats, so...
But hey, at least your women are doing better than your men.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying. And
Well,
you
that's
know,
been the thing with women's football lately, is that they have been doing a lot better than the guys have recently.
Well, and
Yeah.
Funny you mention that though, Shiori. In the Women's World Cup, England, men and women did almost equally.
it's funny because USA... Oh yeah, that's right, we beat you in that match there.
It was more so speaking in a general sense.
There you go. I found the chart. Apparently, the top sellers are Total War and Football Manager. Then there's this series called Chain Chronicle, which I have no idea. Probably a gacha arcade stuff. I have no idea what it is. Then Yakuza, obviously, and also the rest of the Mega 10 franchise. Persona. Then around the Puyo Puyo. Well, Puyo Puyo is a bit of a weird case because it started, and also that goes for Sonic because more than 800 million sold entirely. But yeah, basically,
They held on for so long, and they conceded 2 goals in a minute.
Point is that in more recent times, it's some of the Western franchises that are holding back Sega alive, and they allow them to recoup a lot of money and allow them to take the risk that they did in more recent times, like starting to localize again Shining Force, or continuing Frontier Chronicles, for example, relocalizing Yakuza games and stuff like that.
And yes, some people still say they only care about stuff like Sonic and nothing else.
That's people who don't really bother to actually look into matters.
Oh, that's the thing, Dwibs. I mean, they are wrong, but it's also true that there's still a lot of work to be done.
There is also the case. I think when
but
people
keep in
say they're
mind
only
that I believe that Sega are still on the good track in that kind of sense. But anyway,
I will say
we're
this
done
though,
with the
in terms of Sonic Team titles, though, they could maybe focus on something other than Sonic, like
which
a
what we're
new
doing right now?
Knights game.
They're developing the new Sakura Wars games.
Oh wait! Sonic Team are involved in
Project Sakura Wars is done by Sonic Team.
They are.
Huh.
Joe's just kind of proved my point a bit there.
There you go.
I was wanting that as well. Anyway, let's see what happens.
And it's getting
so, Alex, you won the
localized.
match at least.
It feels like a very, very long time ago.
Huh.
You missed your positivity, Lily. You just don't realize what you have until it's gone, n'est-ce pas?
Nice to have you guys back.
Where are we going for lunch?
Oh, I'm gonna have to get out, miss, boys.
Ah, yes, Philip.
Media day for the Premier League's new darling, see?
Look, it's Alex Hunter. Please, Mr. Hunter,
You know,
please.
I'll admit, I do kind of dig the
Leave it out,
chemistry
right?
off of these guys. Just hoping that they get to feature more in this game than they did in the first one. Oh.
Great.
What's wrong, Dwibs?
We'll find out in a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll find out, Jova. Honestly, considering the experience from the previous game, it's better to wait until the bomb gets dropped.
True.
Yeah.
I'll just enjoy the ride, I guess.
Okay, so we'll commence our pre-season campaign in earnest in the next part. So we'll
See ya.
See you for the next part.
See ya.